What is up? This is Alex from Double Move Sports back dishing out more free agency grades. Today I am getting into the AFC West, going to be a lot of fun. Already broke down the AFC East on the channel. Check that out if you haven't already. Hit that like and subscribe button. As usual, helps us out here a ton. But let's not waste any more time. Let's hop right into this AFC West. Starting out with the Super Bowl runner-up Kansas City Chiefs. Their big moves this offseason have all been on the offensive line. They brought in offensive lineman Kyle Long out of retirement for 1 year, $1.5 million. Joe Thuney at guard, 5-year, $80 million deal. And Mike Rimmers at offensive tackle, 1 year, $7 million deal. Recently re-signed Demarcus Robinson at wide receiver as well. And I'm actually going to give the Chiefs an A-. And the reason being is I think this team is obviously set up to win Super Bowls right now. The defense is playing at a solid level. The offense, obviously fantastic with Patrick Mahomes at quarterback. And really the biggest hole for this team, if you watch the Super Bowl, if you watch the playoff run, was that offensive line just for that one game there at the end. So addressing the offensive line was super important for the Chiefs this offseason. They didn't really get the running game going very much last year with Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who they drafted in the first round. So Joe Thuney is a fantastic signing for the Chiefs. One of the best guards in this free agency class, and honestly one of the best guards in the NFL. They also bring in additional depth and help with Kyle Long and Mike Rimmers. So the Chiefs knew what they had to fix. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. The defense is good. The offensive weapons are good. But they went ahead and addressed the offensive line. So for that, I give them an A-. But let's go ahead and move on to their AFC West counterpart, the Vegas Raiders. I will throw their signings up on the screen here. They had quite a few, highlighted by Yannick Ngakoue at defensive end, 2 year, $26 million deal. Solomon Thomas on the D-line, 1 year, $5 million deal. And infamously, the Kenyon Drake deal, 2 year, $11 million when you already have Josh Jacobs on this roster. Brought in some other impact players there as well. Not everything is listed here. These are really just the big signings that I felt were worth bringing up and mentioning in this grade show. But I'm giving the Raiders a D. I mean, this is inexplicable. They traded Gabe Jackson, Trent Brown, and Rodney Hudson off of their offensive line. And they have some replacement level guys that can step in. They, signed a couple of lower level guys on the O-line, re-signed Richie Incognito. But man, what are they going to do on the offensive line? They were one of the best units in the league last season, and they definitely didn't take a step up. And then they go out and sign Kenyon Drake on a 2 year, $11 million deal, up to $14 million. So pretty good running back money on a team where you already have Josh Jacobs. Just doesn't make a ton of sense to me. I like the John Brown signing. Okay, 1 year, $3.8 million. Get him on the outside, see what he can do. Yannick Ngakoue, I think, was a big pickup for the defense to help with that pass rush. But man, the Raiders, some of these moves were just inexplicable. I hope John Gruden has something up his sleeve. Mike Mayock and company, they're in the front office. I'm sure they know something that we don't. But from the viewer's perspective, just from the outside looking in, got to give the Raiders a D on this one, unfortunately. But let's go ahead and move on to the Denver Broncos. Quite a few signings for them as well. I'll throw it on the screen here. Highlighted really by defense. The only offensive signing was Mike Boone at running back, 1 year, $2.6 million deal after letting Phillip Lindsay go. But defensively, this team's going to be a force next season. So for that, I'm giving them a B+ for this offseason. Yes, they spent up on some of these veteran defenders, but they got some talent. You look at the cornerback signings, Ronald Darby, 3 year, $30 million. Kyle Fuller, after being cut from the Bears, a 1 year, $9.5 million deal, a guy still playing at a very high level. And then the safeties, they're able to retain both Justin Simmons and Kareem Jackson. Kareem Jackson, 1 year, $5 million. That's a bargain for Denver. And Simmons, after using the franchise tag on him, they were able to find that extension number. So that secondary is going to be really, really good in Denver. They exercise the team option on Von Miller as well. And they bring in Shelby Harris at defensive tackle, 3 year, $27 million deal. So yes, they spent on some of these veterans, but they really retained their own in Justin Simmons and Von Miller. And then a couple of the other guys are 1 year deals. So they can get out of those pretty easily. They're pretty flexible. So for that, I give the Broncos a B+. We'll see what the offense can do in 2021. But the defense, I expect to be very, very good in a very strong division. But last but not least, we'll move on to the Los Angeles Chargers. I'll throw their signings on the screen here. Just a couple big notable ones. And I'm going to give the Chargers an A. I mean, they did what they had to do, and they protected Justin Herbert through some of these signings. Corey Linsley, all-pro center, one of the, if not the best center in the league. 5-year, $62.5 million deal. Matt Filer from the Steelers, 3-year, $21 million deal. So they are protecting their young, prestigious quarterback, Justin Herbert. I think that's where they needed to go in free agency. They have some draft capital as well where they can bring in some weapons on offense, bring in help on the defensive side of the ball. But their defense struggled with injuries last season, and when they get their guys healthy, I expect their defense to be fine. Also brought in Michael Davis at cornerback, 3-year, $15 million deal. Nothing crazy there. So I like what the Chargers did. The Jared Cook signing is sneaky as well after letting Hunter Henry go. Jared Cook can definitely get it done in the receiving game, a veteran guy who will continue to help Justin Herbert. So I like what the Chargers did with that offensive line. I expect Austin Eckler to have more room to operate as well. I expect them to protect Justin Herbert. So for that, they get an A. They knew what their needs were, similar to the Chiefs, and they went out and they got it done. So to recap, we got the Chiefs at an A-, Raiders at a D, the Broncos at a B+, and the Chargers at an A. I want to know in the comments below what you think of these grades. What would you have liked to see these teams do in free agency, and what are you looking for them to do in the NFL draft? I will continue to crank through some of these breakdowns. I'll get to the rest of the AFC here in the coming days. But again, hit that like and subscribe button if you're enjoying this content. This is Alex from Double Move Sports, and we'll see you next time.